Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, y'all. I'm your host, Bull. Today we're going to be doing some early scouting on Mississippi State, and we've done some videos like this before, but I don't want this one to go as long, so we won't go as in-depth, but we will do some more in-depth breakdowns for the members of this channel. But I do want for y'all to understand how this matchup looks just very, very early on. So as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it helps us out tremendously. So let's go ahead and get started. And the place that I want to start off at is with Mississippi State's offense. We'll talk about some things that maybe worries me about what they could have for this upcoming year, but y'all can see how their depth chart looks for me. Obviously, we don't know exactly who's going to be starting and who's not. This is really more of a look at their roster on paper. And the players that you see in that orange, gold sort of a color, those are the incoming transfers. The players that are in like that pink, purple color, those are going to be the incoming freshmen. And they've got a lot of talent with their wide receivers, just like relatively speaking. Same offense that Tennessee runs. Okay, so the talent's going to be with the wide receivers. They're going to have talent at quarterback. They've got some good-looking tight ends, running backs. We already know that the running games are going to be there. That's probably my biggest concern for their offense. But they have a total of 10 blue-chip caliber players on their offense. Now, as far as Tennessee's defense, what we're seeing is, obviously, man, we're loaded up front. The pass rush is going to be great, just like it typically is. We have good talent with our linebackers. I'd say actually great talent. Cornerbacks, very, very talented. I think that we're pretty deep there. Safeties, it's not a lot of depth, but I think it's talented. It's young talent. That's the biggest question mark for us on defense. But we have a total of 27 blue chip caliber players on our defense. And all these numbers, just as far as the, star ratings and all that, that's all coming from 24/7 Sports. So with all that being said, y'all, let's go on ahead and jump into this film. And I want to start off with Mississippi State's rushing game because that is what concerns me the most. We'll take a look at their, numbers from our game last year. So 38 carries for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4.7 yards per carry. Mississippi State rushed for more yards on Tennessee than anybody else in 2024, and both of their running backs were averaging 6.3 yards per carry. So it really could have been, really it was even worse than what these numbers show. But that's what this offense can do. Mississippi State, they went toe-to-toe with UGA down in Athens. That's a big part of the reason is because of this offensive scheme. So on this first play, what you're going to see is inside zone. They're a lot like us where they're going to run a ton of inside zone, but they run a little bit more outside zone than Tennessee does. Next season, I think that both teams will probably run more outside zone just because it worked for both teams. You'll see that as we go throughout this film. But looking at the box, what you're seeing is 5 blockers for Mississippi State. I'm sorry, 6 blockers for Mississippi State. And then you have 6 people in the box for Tennessee. But then you've got the quarterback and you've got the running back. So they've got really +2. And Tennessee's playing what looks like to me a cover 2 man. So the safeties can't really help out inside of the box because they're playing that deep coverage. And obviously, the cornerbacks on the outside, they're playing man-to-man. So things like this can happen, right? It looks like the run fits were pretty good. We'll see it again from the end zone. Maybe Jeremiah Telander could have made a play here. You know what I'm saying? But he's just really going to his fit. Tight end comes in to block him. He takes him on, just couldn't make that play. So that's how this offense can absolutely hurt you. And like I said, man, they had, a lot of success doing it versus us last season, more success than anybody else. That could be a problem coming up in 2025, especially because we're going there to play. So here we have an outside zone. I have Jeremiah Telander highlighted. You're going to see that he knows where this play is going. So look, he moves over to the spot, but he's not able to make the play. He takes on the offensive lineman. He doesn't, he's not able to come off and make that tackle. So you could maybe look at the safety too and say, well, why wasn't the safety there? Because we're not really dedicating our safeties to the running game versus this offense. So maybe that's how Coach Banks thinks that you stop this offense. And that's probably a pretty good point. So here I have AC highlighted. He's playing kind of like the overhanging guy, and he's going to have this wide receiver block him. You just can't have this. If a wide receiver comes out to block you and you're a linebacker, you got to blow their butts up immediately and come off and make the play. You saw that he missed that tackle. So really, our linebackers struggled in this game. This is probably the worst game that they had all year long. So here, this is another inside zone. And I think that is Jalen Smith, who actually transferred to Mississippi State. I've got him highlighted. You see that he goes to the wrong side. Huge hole. If you're off even by a little bit with this offensive scheme where you want to get downhill, it can be a major problem. But you're seeing, I also have, I have Andre Turrentine highlighted, and on the left side, I think that he was doing a good job with where he was supposed to go with his run fit. Probably going to be that outside guy, like that alley player. So he's going to go there first. You're seeing that Jalen Smith, he's going to go to our right, to his left. And then the other player that's not highlighted right there that's playing in the box, that's Christian Harrison, who played at Star Force. He does a good job, I think, with his run fit. But because, there's no one, really it's going to be based off of what Jalen Smith did. It's going to give a wide open lane to this running back. You can see there's a lot of grass there. So Linebackers have got to play a lot better in this game. And I think that they will, is because we got some veterans now. I think that we have more talented depth as well, even though it's going to be younger. But I think that it's all going to end up balancing out. So on this next one, we have Power T, who's going to come on this blitz. We've got a wide receiver motion over. This is another inside zone. So he's going to blitz. He's going to get close. He's going to go after the quarterback first. He's not able to make the tackle, even though he really should have been able to make it. So again, it's mostly about linebacker play. This is AC. Looks like he's trying to be that spill guy, but you also see that the wide receiver motion over, he kind of goes with that motion. I think that AC struggled with his eyes in this game. He took himself out of plays a lot of times, does it there. He really should have made that tackle, doesn't fully make the stop, slows him down some, just can't really have it. And then, of course, the quarterback's legs is always another issue. You got to make sure that you're keeping them bottled up. And here he's looking to pass, but he's able to get outside of the pocket. Y'all see it again from the end zone angle. James Pierce gets held like you just would not believe. No call like it typically was for us. We just couldn't get a break. And hopefully, man, the referees will start throwing some more of those penalties. I think that the season would have looked a lot better for us if they would have thrown some more of these flags, because it was several big-time plays like this. I mean, look, he scampers for a daggum first down there. People are pissed off. So here they're on the 1-yard line. They're going to punch it in with this inside zone. And see, they're spreading you out. This is something that Tennessee can do, right? You're going to see them also, Mississippi State, in pistol. Part of the reason that Tennessee might be running pistols because they saw Mississippi State doing it. We talked about it last season. I think that their offense, it's the same scheme, but I think that they just ran it better than us. So here, both of the linebackers are going to go to the outside, partner of the Red Sea, inside zone, right up the middle, smack dab, right? Again, Tennessee wasn't really dedicating safeties to the box. We're saying, hey, we can do it with just the 5 here, which is 5-on-5. But again, you got the +2 because the quarterback and that running back. Right there, we have AC highlighted. He really should have made this play here, right? He guesses wrong. He doesn't get off the block nearly quick enough, and now he's chasing. Safeties have to make plays. We talk a lot about the safeties. They're going to be big. This is another one with the safeties. We got Brooksy highlighted here on another inside zone, takes a poor angle. If you're supposed to be a box guy, it's simply going to be because Tennessee was blitzing, which is exactly what we did there. You got to get to your dadgum fit, or it's a 20, 30-yard run. And we can't have that. So you'll see it again from this angle. Everybody else, I think, did a pretty good job. You know what I'm saying? It was just that Brooks took a really, really bad angle, and now our cornerbacks have to make tackles all the way down the field, just to save us. So on this one, inside zone, you're going to see that the players in purple, they're coming on a blitz. And then we're going to have Arion Carter, who's highlighted right there in gold, rush out to the flats, trying to get to this, quick screen. And it's going to be this is just ridiculous how much space this running back has. Wait till you see this from the end zone copy. It is laughable. It's a daggone shame that we play like this. So look at that. That's a ton of space. So either way, linebackers, it's gonna be, I think, on them. I think that everyone else, our front four is gonna be fine. Our cornerbacks are gonna be fine. I think that the safeties, for the most part, should be okay. Might be some different things, but this is, getting to their passing game. Not too concerned here. Outside of maybe they will try to isolate our safeties and, maybe get them thrown off. So they went 10 of 26 last year for 92 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. That was Boo Carter. That was a really, really nice pick. But, obviously holding them under 50%, that says a lot. And y'all will see why that, why that is the case once we get to the next portion of this. But really, they didn't have a ton of, they didn't do a lot of great things versus, but where they, were able to hit on us was with these, switch routes. So you're seeing it here. The player that's highlighted in gold with the route that's in gold, that's where the ball is going. And I think that the coverage for the most part was pretty good. So see, here, the coverage is actually good. It's just a well-run route. The timing's good. It's a well-thrown football. Perfect offense beats perfect defense every single time. They also have more pre-snap movement than Tennessee does. So on this one, that's J-Mac, who I have highlighted up top in white. He's going to go with this post, but really he was supposed to stick with this wheel, and because he doesn't, it's wide open. And I was watching some of the, other passing plays. There were some other times when this exact same route combination was wide open. So we've got to, I think that we will do better with it coming up in 2025. Here, these are going to be double digs. You got that, short out right there, that little speed out is going to the inside. And I think that the coverage is pretty good. Maybe the linebacker could have got over just a little bit more inside of the passing lane, but that's really just a situation where it's just very well executed. So I think that they were crisp with what they were doing. Now, this route coming from this player here in gold, I don't know if this is like an over route, if this is a post, or if this is a bender. I don't know what it is, but yeah, you have Boo guarding him. I think that Boo's in a good spot there. But again, it's just such a well-placed football. and that quarterback will not be back for them next year. We'll see how the other quarterbacks look. I know the Shapen will be back, but they've got some new guys. It's one guy that transferred, and I think that they got a pretty good freshman too. So probably one of those guys will end up starting here. This is the last one, just as far as the passes, and these are just like the first down passes that they hit on us last year. This is a slant, and they're going to be able to get the inside leverage here. And again, it's just very, very well executed. I think that they run some good routes, and then that kid there, 7, I think he's going to be back as well. So now let's take a look at let's go ahead and take a look at the defense for Mississippi State first, and y'all can see that they have talent on all levels. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a ton of it, but it's spread out pretty evenly. They've got some good guys up front. Maybe the pass rush will look a little bit better for them in 2025. I doubt it, because I think that offensive line is going to be better. But they also have Jalen Smith transferring in, who I think is going to be an upgrade over some of the linebackers that they had last season. We know how he looked last year for us. It wasn't absolutely great, but he was definitely solid. So, we will see how all that looks. But let's take a look at and then too. Sorry, y'all. Listen, they have 14 blue chip caliber players on their defense, so they have a total of 24 on their roster. Now, as far as Tennessee's offense, okay, we have a total of 22 blue chip caliber players on our offense. I think that our offense is going to be fine, y'all. I'm really not too concerned about that. But let's go ahead and start looking at this pass rush for Mississippi State last season. This was a big part of their problem, right? Like, they blitzed a lot. I think that they blitzed at like 38%. They brought 6 in their pressures a lot. You don't typically see that. That's almost like a sellout blitz. So their pressure rate was only at 14%, close to 14%. They only had 3 hurries, and they had 0 sacks. So obviously, I think that it did kind of impact what Tennessee wanted to do, but obviously looking at it here, it didn't have that much of an impact. Obviously, we're able to hit on that pass. You're seeing here, it's more of, hey, things are covered up down the field, but we're picking up the pressure very, very well. That's a hell of a daggone ball right there by Gaston Moore. So we're able to hit on that one. And then this is the last hurry that they had, where really we had the time and we should have, made that play. So either way, now looking at what our pass rush did, this is the main reason that Tennessee had a ton of success in this game. I think we blitzed at maybe 24%, but the pressure rate was at almost 49%, which is unheard of. That's crazy. 15 hurries, 4 sacks, and really most of the sacks came towards the end of the game. I think 3 of them came in that fourth quarter, but we'll take a look at some of the pressures here just so that y'all can see what we have going on. So, I mean, getting very, very close, making the quarterbacks get off the spot, making them throw some bad passes there. You're seeing them cutting us. Typically, whenever the offensive line's cutting, that means that they feel outmatched. At least that's how I look at it. But the biggest thing Tennessee's got to do different this year is close. They have a pressure rate of almost 50% with only 4 sacks. That says that we're not closing. We talk a whole lot about, our guys up front having to do that. And you're going to see some of the guys that will be back next season flashing for us. And then, something else too is, this daggum quarterback, when you don't close, them making plays, that's really what kind of kept Mississippi State not really in the game, but kept it closer than it actually was. But, guys like Bryson Eason, you're going to see him flashing. This might have been one of his best pass rushing games. You're going to see Joshua Joseph's flash. So I'm not too concerned. I do think that the closing is going to take a step forward. All right, that's Bryson Eason right there. I think that the closing will take a step forward in 2025, which is pretty much all that you can ask for. So as long as our linebackers step up, as long as they do a better job with their run fits, I definitely think the Tennessee is going to be fine. But, you're seeing that the stunts, pretty much getting there. And now this is more towards, I think this is fourth quarter stuff. Now we're starting to close. So now we're going to take a look at Tennessee's offense versus Mississippi State last year, just to show you why I'm not too concerned. Now, the passing numbers weren't fantastic. I mean, 13 of 21 for 212 yards, and, with 2 tugs. 57 carries. We ran the football a ton versus Mississippi State, 240 yards with 1 touchdown and averaging 4.2 yards per carry. I think that D-Sam was averaging like 5 yards per. Either way, we're going to be able to run on them. I know that for sure. Will we run it that much? I mean, it's kind of a different situation. Last season when we played them, it was late. Like, we played them prior to playing UGA. I think it was the week leading up to UGA. And, we were just trying to make sure, hey, let's not blow this game because we still have some playoff hopes. This year, it's different. We played them the game, we played them after Georgia. So, it's earlier in our season, and you might want to work on some things. So I could see Tennessee working on our passing game. We were able to versus Mississippi State. They did a lot of kind of playing us straight up. They played a lot of cover 3 and quarters coverage, which just means they're playing deeper coverages, making us having to, dink and dunk down the field. But there were some times when they try to go like three deep, and try to force us, again, just with the underneath stuff. But there were also times when we got some one-on-one isolation situations that I think that we'll be able to maybe hit on some of the open targets downfield better this year. I'm just kind of hoping that. But watching these guys, watching our quarterbacks play, Joey, he's pretty accurate downfield. All of our guys, Merck, I think, GMAC, and again, with the switching up of our scheme, might see more kind of like three-step drop, throw the football like what Mississippi State likes to do. I think that that's going to help us out a lot more. But just because last season you saw a ton of this, where it's all vertical routes, it's either you're going deep vertical or you're coming back vertical. So, I think that we can find a lot of success versus this defense with our offense in 2025. Again, I'm not too concerned about it. But that's pretty much it for my thoughts, y'all. Hope that y'all liked this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, and looking forward to this season, as y'all can tell. So leave your thoughts with me down in the comment section, and as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you.